welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this special edition of YBMcast Player Spotlight. And today, to my right, I have this young man, Carson McCaleb from Timberland High School, joining us on the show. Carson, thanks for stopping in, man.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm just the Joe Schmo guy. I get to sit and talk to guys like you. It's a lot of fun for me. I enjoy watching baseball. And I think there's a lot of talent, not only in the GAC, but in the state of Missouri. And getting to meet you the other day at the PBR event,
Yep.
and listening just to your story a little bit, I was like, I got to have you on the show.
Appreciate that. That's great.
So, and here we are, St. Louis. I always like to start this way because I think St. Louis is a baseball town, right?
Oh, for sure.
And growing up playing baseball in the Lou, when did you start? How did you start?
So I'm actually from Memphis, Tennessee, and I grew up playing baseball there. I was actually a soccer player before I started playing baseball.
Okay.
So my brother, Connor, he actually got me into baseball. He just had a blast playing, and I was like, I want to get in on that. So started playing down there, worked my way up. I played rec, right? That's how everyone starts, and worked my way up. We made an all-star team, and then we turned into this little club team. Then we ended up becoming second in state one year, and we won the last year I was there. And then we moved up here, and literally the first day we moved up here, I was like, all right, I got to get a tryout. So we got a tryout with the St. Louis Prospects.
Okay.
And it was for Bennis. That's who we kind of like a tryout for, but we were like a sub. And we played Jack Hlabowski's team. And I remember coming here, and I'm like, holy, like they're huge. Like Jack was a huge kid, and he pitched against us. I think he hit me like twice or something. And I was like, okay, this is how this is gonna go. But I don't know. I kind of just weaseled my way into like figuring out what St. Louis baseball was about. But I started to figure out it seemed more mature, and
interesting.
It seemed more mature. The kids in the South were. Maybe it was just where I was playing. It could have been exactly like it was here, but it seems like I jumped into a more mature and faster learned game when I came up here, and it was a good experience because it made me realize, all right, well, we got to do something now. Like we have to start getting to the level that these guys are at, and it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty quick, but it was definitely a change in scenery. That's for sure.
How old were you when you moved?
I moved up here in 5th grade, so I was around 11 or 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you saw a lot of youth baseball. It was kind of a half and half. Huh?
Yeah.
That early part, 9, 10, 11,
Yeah.
12, 13, 14, kind of here before you got into high school.
Yeah.
That is a unique perspective that way. And you know, at 12 years old, it's where some guys are getting their growth a little bit sometimes, and you get those differences. And I think it's curious. You said the maturity of the game. I know there's club baseball down in Memphis. I know a lot of people go down to South Haven. You know, it's a big spot down there.
Yep.
And there's good clubs. So kind of come back to that. That's curious to me.
So the maturity that I saw was we came up and we started, and I think we saw Will Minch. We saw Will Minch play.
Okay.
We were watching one of his games before we had our game, and he was sliding head first. We've never seen anyone do that. It was always feet first. It was always like jumping into a bag. Like it wasn't ever. It seemed like that seems like high school baseball. Like they're sliding like that.
Yeah.
Pitchers were throwing a little harder here. It seemed like maybe it was just like I said, the level I was playing, but I was playing pretty good level down there.
Sure.
But they were throwing harder. There was some double plays that were turned. Everything looked cleaner. Like it was more. Seemed more at a high level in how they carried themselves. Like they carried themselves like they were it, and they were the baseball players. and back in Memphis, it was like everyone did everything. It wasn't really a this or that. It was like I played flag football, I played soccer, I played baseball. It was kind of like everyone did that, and no one really honed in on one sport. But it seemed like here it was like I'm a baseball player, or I play football, or whatever it was, and it was just more mature, and it really was eye-opening seeing the slides and the double plays and how hard everyone was throwing. Like Brett, when he was younger, Brett Norfleet threw super hard, like as a young kid, super hard, and he's 6'2" as a 12-year-old. Like, he was crazy. And that's exactly how Jack was. I mean, Jack was huge, and it was like, this doesn't make any sense, but it was just something you had to get used to up here.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to move that a little bit closer to you. I think it's interesting as you say that, because I remember Brett Norfleet at 14U and watching him, and just there are guys that just seem to, are better than others at certain ages.
Yeah.
We get it. When you're looking at this and you're starting to look, I want to play, you're not as big as those guys.
Mm-mm.
What was the mentality that you took to kind of compete at that level?
It was more of, for me, it was just, let's get after it. There wasn't ever like, oh, he's 6'2", I'm scared. It was like, I wanted to get in there and compete. Like, that's always been how I was. I've always wanted to get in there and compete. Like, that's kind of how I took football in high school. Was I've never played before, but I wanted to get in there and compete. It didn't matter what it was. I was getting in there and playing ball, and it was also a lot of what I did outside of just games. Like, I'd hit every day when I was younger, and I still do. I do more now, but it was just the love I had, and I had to get in there and compete, or it wasn't going to be something that I was going to enjoy if I was losing or if I was doing bad. Like, I had to go in and do good, and competing was just the way I did it. I just took it on like a challenge, and 100%.
So it was last year, correct? Football.
Mm-hmm.
Your beginning of your junior year, correct?
Yep, it was our second game.
You had a knee injury.
I tore my ACL, yeah.
You tore your ACL. I want people to understand this. You tore your ACL. This is junior year. This is last year football. You were starting catcher that same year.
Yep.
Playing baseball.
Yep.
How did you do that?
It was so I'll just take you through what happened. So the week prior to that game that I tore my ACL, I was on the team Lafayette. We were playing Lafayette, and they just scored, and I was on the extra point. We were going to block it, and I go through a hole and I roll my ankle, and it didn't look good. It was a bad roll, and I just had to. I was like, all right, let's just tape it up and let's go, because I don't want to sit out. I never do. But the next week, I was on every special teams. We kick off, and then I was on the sidelines. I wasn't starting, or I was starting, but like it was more of a same thing type of role. But I go in and I go to hit the quarterback, and right when I plant it, it pops. So I was like, what is this? And then my hamstring quad started taking over my leg, and I've always had big, strong legs. Like, it's always been the thing as a catcher, right? So they took over, and it was like nothing happened, and I was good. So I went back. We just scored, or we had like a pick six or something, and I went in for extra point, and we made it. A guy came and pushed me, like everyone does, and it was like, this feels a little weird. So then our trainer was like, you good? I was like, yeah, let's go. So I went and did kickoff. And as I'm running down on kickoff, nothing seems weird, but right when I go to plant to hit the guy, I actually made the tackle. And I was like, this isn't stable. So I was like, hey, I'm out. I can't.
There was no power behind it.
Well, an ACL is like your stop.
Yeah,
it's your stop.
Yeah.
So hitting people and changing directions and stuff like that, like, you need that.
Yeah.
And that's something that just I didn't have, but my hamstring quad kind of like simulated it, but not good enough, right? So that entire week I talked to my trainer. He's like, it's probably just a hamstring thing, and that's what's good, but also bad about having strong legs is it covers up your injury. So my trainer was like, you're good, and I didn't practice all week. And then my position coach was like, can you be ready? I was like, I'll be ready. So I lifted Thursday, the day before our game, and I was lifting just fine. It felt a little weird. I suit up, and I have a little knee brace that I'm wearing, and I only played special teams that game. And then so the fall team I was supposed to be playing on, my mom wouldn't let me play. She was like, let's figure this out now. So luckily the fall, I was playing for Pratt, and his wife is in that medical field, and she started checking out. She's like, it feels like it's torn. I was like, dang. So
it's always nice to have somebody who knows.
Yes,
right?
and then we went and got it looked at by her guy, and it turns out it was torn. So I really wasn't ever devastated. I wasn't like, all right, it sucks. It really does. Yeah. It put me back in recruiting, like, because I didn't have that fall and winter to do anything. It was rough, but what it looked like for me was I had surgery. I started walking on it the next day, and then I was doing physical therapy 2 times a week. I was doing my exercises he gave me every single day, a few times a day, and at the point when it was like 2 months, he said, I asked him, I was like, can I start lifting upper body? And he said, yeah. He's like, as long as you're not lifting legs or whatever. So when I tore my ACL, I was about 160 pounds. And I dropped me 5 pounds, and then I really started lifting. Yeah. And I got up to around 175, 180-ish, just in upper body. Because my legs never really, my left leg did, but my right leg was still pretty big. And as I'm recovering, I was about 3 months, I started lifting my lower body, and I joined this lifting program. I forget what it's called, but I would go 5 days a week. Oh, wow. I'd go lift after school 5 days a week. It was about 2 hours, and I was just getting in there. I was getting stronger because I was determined to get back for the season. I wasn't going to miss it. And that's one thing I told my doctor. I was like, where am I at right now? Where does it look? And he said, when it went right after surgery, he's like, you're a big, strong kid. You could be back 7 to 8 months. I was like, that's not going to work. So I was lifting every single day, and it was about 4-ish months. He was like, all right, you're good to start hitting and fielding and everything. And I started hitting every day, and it was a slower pace. I can't do too much too fast. Sure. So it was really just hitting as much as I could, and I did everything. If I was supposed to go 80%, I'd go 100, and if I was supposed to go 100%, it'd be 110. Like it was, and that's probably not the best way to look at it. I'm not saying don't push yourself.
This isn't advice, folks.
No, but I pushed myself, and because I knew how my body could take it, so I pushed myself, and I actually tried out without being fully cleared to play in a game. I was cleared to try out and cleared to do everything baseball wise. I just could not fully go, and after I made the team and whatnot, I went that week, and he tested me. He's like, "You're good to go." So it was 5 months and 10 days was my entire recovery, and it was really just because it was all gas, no brakes, and I just wanted to get back.
5 months, 10 days, you rehabbed your torn ACL and were back on the field playing baseball. That's pretty impressive, young man.
That's one thing that I was wanting to pride myself on was I wanted the fastest recovery. So
I got to ask you this. So, you said that it was never really, you never really got down or felt bad about anything. Just go. So there wasn't that thought process, I'm not going to play. I'm going to miss the season. It was never that. Talk to us a little bit about the mental focus you had that way.
So it was, I think it was I'm getting back, and it's going to be for sure that. But it was also I kept my mind busy. Okay. I'd go to school. I really wasn't worried about anything. I was focused on school. That's super important to me is my grades. So I focused on that. And then I'd get home, and I was like, all right, it's time to go work out. So then I'd drive to my workout, listen to my music or whatever. So I was never really thinking about getting back. Mm-hmm. It was on my off days where I was like, all right, we have to do something. And your body needs rest. But your mind never rests. It's always thinking. So I remember there was one day where it was only one day, and I made sure it was the last day that it happened, where I was super down about not being ready for the season, what's going to happen, if I'm not back, who's going to play, like that type of thing. But after I was like, this isn't going to happen, you're getting back. It was really just never a you're not going to get back, you're not going to be able to play this season. It was just you're getting back, and that's the end. I really had no second thought about it.
I love that. I don't want people, because we talk about these things. It's an equation that that gentleman over there taught me, and I use it every day. Power plus attitude equals performance. And so that power, that knowledge, the application. And here's the thing: if you didn't apply that information to you on your everyday, it didn't matter. It would affect your attitude, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would have.
And that in turn affects the performance of everything, what you're doing and how you do. So those are things that we think about and we talk about a lot, is power plus attitude equals performance, and I love that.
And a lot of what I was doing was I surrounded myself with the people that helped me get back. So my trainers one was an ex-White Sox strength coach, and then the one right now that I really worked with is a Rockies. He's actually the strength coach of the Rockies right now.
Oh, wow.
So I knew in the baseball aspect, they knew how to get me right to play the game. But for me, it wasn't. For me, it was, yes, you're getting back, but it was also about getting bigger, because that was my goal in that off season, was to get bigger. I was 160 pounds, and I needed to hit the ball farther. I needed to throw harder. Like, you need to get bigger if you're going to do that.
Especially in your trunk, you got to get some more weight there.
And that's one thing that my one leg, they were smaller because I couldn't do anything. So I was really pushing. I was eating a lot. I was eating a bunch of protein. I was working out all the time. So what my goal was to get to 190 to play, and I did. Right now I'm sitting about 195, and I'm more lean, so that means more muscle. But I like where I'm playing at right now.
How tall are you, Carson?
I'm 5'9".
5'9", 190. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
That's impressive. And you don't. The thing of it is, even though you have a little bit smaller frame, it fits you well.
Yeah.
It does.
Thank you.
Let me ask you this, though. Last thing on the rehab piece. When you got back and started playing, was there ever doubt? Was there ever a moment where, is my knee going to do? Am I going to be able to cut, do, block?
Yeah. So I was working with my catching guy, Rafael Lopez. He was an ex-pro player, and he got me right for the catching. He was like my mom, though. He was wanting me to take it easy, want me to be careful and whatnot. He'd call my mom to make sure everything was okay. So my blocking and all that type of stuff, catching wise, has never been the problem. It's always been my receiving. Mm-hmm. I never had a coach to receive. I was always self-trained with hitting. It didn't matter. My dad helped me sometimes too, but my dad was actually a huge part in the hitting. But catching was mainly just me. And once I got there, he got me into the knowing how to catch, and you knew how to do stuff safely. I mean, nothing's really safe in a sport, but there's a way to do it that'll help you. My thing was running the bases when I came back. Luckily, I'm a catcher. I didn't have to run. I'd hit a double and jog.
Tag out.
I'd hit a double and run to second, and then I'd get subbed out for courtesy runner. So that was good. It was really like, I always push off the base with my left foot, and that's the knee that was weird. So I would like stutter step and push off with my right. So I was still thinking about it, but it was only when I was running, because people would tell me I'd limp, blah blah blah, and like it really made me mad, because I don't want to look like that. I look vulnerable. I don't want to be like that.
Right.
So it was really seeing what was mentally wrong and just changing it completely, because you did so much work for your knee already. There's no reason not to trust it. And that's one thing I had to do, was trust it, and you had to trust it fast to get back to play at the varsity level like I did.
Coming into your senior year, I don't want to go. I personally don't like to go backwards, but I have to ask this, because I thought your 2022 team, 21-22 team, was one of the more talented teams, not just in the conference, not just in the district, but in the state. And you guys got off to a great start, kind of, and then it just was up and down. Finished 17-12, lost in districts. Tell us a little bit about that, and then let's look forward. How do you get yourself back into that? Right?
So a big thing was our chemistry in the beginning. We were close. We were all wanting to get after it. I mean, we had a really good start. We were 10-1, I think, is what it was. So, I mean, we were having fun. And then right when around the conference game started, I feel like we started to press a little bit because games were getting closer. We were playing better competition, and we felt like we had to prove ourselves. And if you're not having fun, it's not going to work. If you're pressing too much, you're not going to perform like you're supposed to. And I've had to learn that the hard way because I do that a lot. I've just had to relax and have fun. We lost one of our best arms, which stunk, and we had some guys that step up. I think it was mainly just our focus changed from just having fun and playing the game we love, and we started pressing, and
it's tough when there's maybe those expectations, right? And learning how to deal. It's not as easy to deal with expectation as people think, correct?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Like Adam's really good at it. He's been real good at it. He's been one of the top arms, and he shows why he is. Right. Jackson Yarberry. I mean, me, him, and Jackson, we made varsity our freshman year. Coming in my sophomore year, I had you're kind of like an underdog. You're a sophomore that was going to start last year, but it was stopped because of COVID. And you just had to come perform. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing that I did then was I kind of pressed a little too hard. And then last year I was kind of just all right, let's take it easy. Let's figure this out again. You're just coming back off an injury. We don't want to do too much. And it was more of I don't know. And then it's more of just relaxing, but kind of like at a slower pace for me. And then when everyone started pressing, I kind of gave into that, and I started pressing as well. And we just kind of just didn't go anywhere after that.
I'm looking at, pitching wise, we're going to talk about these things more. Adam is back, Adam Hatchman, who, if you don't know, go check out the rankings and just Google him. It's a possibility. I mean, it really is. Nobody knows for certain, but there's a possibility he get drafted. Mm-hmm. Then Jackson, and then your brother, who I saw at the PBR event, who looked really good.
Yeah,
Connor McCaleb. You guys twins?
We are twins.
There you go. I knew that. I was testing you. No. But he looked really good. I mean, you have 3 really good arms.
And then you add Bish and Minchin to it as well, and they can throw good too, and they throw in the strike zone. So
you have the depth, don't you?
Yeah, we have the depth. Our Connor, Jackson, Adam are probably going to be around our starters, and we have a good I think sophomore class. We have a good pitcher, mm-hmm. Richie Swain. He'll be coming up. No one knows for certain
right
who's going to be on what team, right? But he's a good arm. We have a few junior arms that have been good. So we have the depth there for sure. Our pitching will be pretty good. Hopefully our defense can help them out.
Who's coming back on your defensive side that you really think will make an impact for you guys this year?
Caden Bish, he's just a player.
Yeah.
That kid can play.
Yeah.
Ethan Smock, he's the same way. He'll get in there and play. Will Mensch will get in there and play. I'm trying to think. I mean, we were real senior.
Yeah, because Fumagalli,
Will Brand.
Yeah.
Louis played first. Ryan Dicker played some outfield.
Yeah.
Those
guys are all gone.
Yeah. Huh? We had a few guys that got some innings last year. Cade Manner's one of them. And they'll step up and they'll play. They'll play some good ball. So I don't know. It's gonna be more newish on the defensive side this year. So we'll have to see.
Do you think though that maybe that goes, hey, we got a little bit to prove. Let's go out and prove it. Not necessarily with the expectation, but hey, we know we can play this game at a high level. Let's just go out and enjoy and play baseball.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, that's the one thing we just got to have fun.
Yeah.
And it's going to be real senior heavy loaded this year. I know we have some underclassmen that are good and some juniors that are pretty good too. They'll step up, but a lot of our team is going to be seniors, like it was last year, and we have fun. Our seniors have fun, and that's why I think we will have fun this year, and we're gonna be pretty good, is because we all love to play with each other.
One of the things that is just interesting to me as I look at this, coming out of last year, the GAC South. Let's just talk conference before we get any further. I know you'll play a good non-conference schedule. You guys play a couple of the big tournaments early.
Yep.
So you're going to see some of those guys from the west side and the southwest. But Francis Howell, you got Naputi.
Yep.
Norfleet, I'd say, is going to be back.
Norfleet, yeah.
On the mound this year. We'll see.
We'll see, yeah.
But he's got arms galore.
Yeah.
I mean, but those two guys, goodness mercy.
Naputi and
Norfleet.
Yeah.
You got Lane Harris coming back off that injury for Central.
Yeah.
And who's the other young man? Braden Rubel's back.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then Zumwalt South is always good. They got Kenton Deverman coming back.
Yeah.
And I think they had a couple of guys, young, good arms coming up as well. So there's 4. And then, I'm sure Troy, I know they lost their big guy, Cade Noddy.
Yeah.
We'll see how they replenish that. They had some pretty decent guys. There's Holt.
Yep. They got some guys too.
I mean, conference play is Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bring your lunch, huh?
Mm-hmm. You are, yeah. It's gonna be tough this year.
Or at least eat your lunch before you go play.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Does that? Yeah. I mean, what does that say about you when and we talk? I'm segueing into this. That's what that is. Because you're uncommitted as a college player.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that in that respect, even as a senior.
Yeah.
It's fine. What does that say, though, when you're talking about and people are looking at you as a catcher and you're in this conference, you hit 400 in that conference.
Yeah. You
hit 400. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, you're playing a bunch of your friends. I mean, that's just how it is. You play a lot of people you know.
Yeah.
And going into this conference, they're good.
Yeah.
They're really good. But it's what it's always been with me. I don't want to get beat. I hate getting beat. I love winning. Definitely more than losing, and I love it. So it's going in there and having fun, I guess, playing your friends, having fun, but also, I mean, leaving it all on the field.
Yeah.
You don't want to play down to someone's competition. When you play some of those non-conference games, you don't want to play down. You want to absolutely destroy them, right? And that's, I mean, if you're going to be playing a GAC team that's good, you're going to want to bury them. And that's just, I feel like that's just how you got to go about every game. I mean, not every game's going to be you burying a team. Not every game's going to be you beating a team by just a little bit. Sometimes you may lose.
Yeah.
But it's I guess just your mindset going in to play them is mainly just more about it because every team can win in the GAC.
Yes.
Every team's fully capable of it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Troy was pretty good last year. Holt's good. I mean, West. Yeah. I mean, you're playing a lot of teams that are good. And, I mean, if you're not coming to play, they will expose you. And you don't want that. So I guess it's just coming in and showing them that you're not going to be exposed and that you want to expose them and show them their weakness.
And I think that's interesting, as you talk about that, because if you're talking about still the recruiting, the uncommitted, you want to play in those level of games.
Yeah.
And be able to show the success level, whether it be your catching, whether it be your hitting, base run, whatever the case may be, the nuances of the game and how you play the game, right?
Yeah.
I agree. You're right now, though. Let's finish this up. You're playing down in Memphis.
I am. I'm playing in Tennessee. A bunch of the JUCOs around the area and playing them with the solid Memphis Tigers team.
If you're able to, go where you want to go, where would you like to go?
I mean,
you don't have a preference.
I'm from Tennessee, so obviously I'd want to say go to Tennessee and play for the Volunteers, right?
Of course.
But right now I've been told this from every recruiting guy. You got to be real with yourself and where you want to go.
Yes.
I definitely think I'm D1 material, and I want to go D1. I've talked to a few schools. Abilene Christian is one. I really like them. They're really good facilities, really good program. I like what they're doing there. Arkansas State is one I'm interested in. I don't really know. I'm really just the schools that are interested in me and that I'm talking to right now are the really some good JUCOs in the Tennessee area and around there. Some of the top NIAs, and I think that I'm a better baseball player than that. Not saying that's not good ball. I mean, the team that I just played was loaded with D1 potential, and I mean they're a really good program, but it's finding the right fit for me, and being so late in the recruiting because of my injury has kind of put that back. And I've had to come to terms with being patient. Yeah. And with the transfer portal and everything, you've had to be patient. Yeah. And that's one thing that you can't let go into your game is worried about committing and always playing great just to go play college. Someone's going to like you. They'll take a chance on you. There's places to play, right? There's places to play. Yeah. It's just about, for me right now, is finding the right spot. Yeah. And playing the best baseball. I'm playing really good competition right now. I have some schools coming to look at me, like Abilene. I hope will be coming to watch me play this fall. And if they don't, I don't know if I'll even commit this year. It could be after the spring season. I just got to find the right fit for me and wants to take a chance on me.
I think it's kind of cool. Of course, we get to talk with Kevin Mulder. Yep. Director. He's the director of scouting for Missouri for Prep Baseball Report. And one of the things he said, and he said it a couple times, but he said it again recently, is, if you're going to a school, he says, would you go to that school even if you weren't playing baseball? Yeah. And I always thought that was a unique perspective. And so if you want to play baseball and it's not quite the school you want to go to, I think the JUCO route is perfect. There's NAIA schools that you can transfer out of and into a Division I, and there's a lot of good NAIA programs in that swath of Tennessee and Georgia down in there. But as you said, JUCO, hey, and it's definitely much cheaper.
Yeah, it definitely is, and it's becoming a good route with the transfer portal.
Yes, because, and I think that's a great point when you talk about guys that are, how many people are transferring now? Yeah. And if you're a freshman and you've gone and you got two guys that transfer right in front of you, it almost takes away a year, doesn't it?
For sure. Yeah, it definitely does. And a lot of programs that are rebuilding or getting new coaches or whatever, they're wanting to take a chance on the younger kids, and they're wanting to build around them. I've noticed, and I've talked to a few guys, and that's what they've been saying. So maybe that's the right fit for me. Maybe JUCO's the right fit for me. Maybe an NIA is a right fit for me. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's walking on somewhere and taking a chance on me. I really don't know the answer yet, but I'd be willing to bet on myself.
I love that. I love that. I love that stuff right there, baby. I'll take you right there. That's just me. Carson McCaleb, folks. Timberland High School. Carson, that was fun.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation as well. That was a great conversation. He will be playing this spring, springish, that we call this in Missouri. Out at Timberland High School. Look, GAC baseball. I know we go out, we do our game of the week. I'm sure we'll have Timberland, but if you're looking for some good baseball to watch, go check these guys out. This is a good baseball team, and I wish you well.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Folks, thanks for tuning in. If you liked the program today, please hit the subscribe button. Hit that dinger next to it, because that's what we do around here. We hit dingers. And some people will say doubles too. Doubles and dingers, right?
Yes, sir.
There you go. And like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. We appreciate that very much. It helps the algorithm, helps us grow. We do appreciate it a lot. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes. And hitters,
Keep hitting.
Keep hitting. I like it. There you go. That's what Jack said.
Nice.
We'll see y'all next time.